Hello and thank you for joining us on World Now. I am Nifemi Okuntoye. We're staying with development in the United States, where Washington and the world are still reeling from President Joe Biden's surprise announcement on Sunday that is ending his re-election campaign. But world leaders have offered their reactions to President Biden's decision to end his faltering re-election campaign after weeks of pressure driven by concerns over his age and fitness. Here are some reactions from leaders around the world.
Israeli President Isaac Herzog expressed gratitude to President Biden for his friendship and steadfast support for the Israeli people over his decades-long career. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said his country respected President Biden's tough but strong decision and was grateful for his unwavering support as it fought to repel Russia's invasion. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that Moscow was focused on winning the war in Ukraine than the outcome of the U.S. election. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said he respected President Biden's decision and looked forward to working with him during the remainder of his presidency.
He led us through the NATO Council just 10 days or so ago, a really important NATO summit, a bigger NATO, a stronger NATO, and a NATO with real resolve.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau hailed President Biden as a great man whose every action was guided by his love for his country. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese expressed thanks to President Biden for his leadership and ongoing service. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said his friend had achieved a lot for his country, for Europe, and for the world. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said President Biden had made a brave and dignified decision. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk praised President Biden for taking many difficult decisions thanks to which Poland, America, and the world are safer and democracy stronger. Czech Prime Minister Petr Fiala said President Biden's decision was that of a statesman who has served his country for decades. Irish Prime Minister Simon Harris praised President Biden as a voice for reason, effective multilateralism, and shared solutions.
Meanwhile, on the home front, reactions have continued to trail the decision of Joe Biden to exit the race.
Over the past few weeks, questions have been raised about the stamina and mental abilities of the 81-year-old President of the United States, Joe Biden, as he sought to compete in a repeat of the 2020 election with Republican candidate, former President Donald Trump. Calls for President Biden to withdraw from the race began to grow after his debate in June against Donald Trump. But the president had insisted that he was fit to run and that he would not be stepping down from the race.
I am running and going to win again.
But in a statement posted in his social media account on X, he announced his decision to stand down and focus on the duties as president for the remainder of his term. And reactions have continued to trail President Biden's decision to drop out of the race. Former President Barack Obama expressed his support for the president and described him as a patriot of the highest order. Senate Democratic Whip Dick Durbin has praised President Joe Biden's decision to drop out of the race, saying he always puts country first. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries also commended President Joe Biden for his decades of service and described him as one of the most accomplished and consequential leaders in America's history. Republican nominee and former president says President Biden, quote, was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has also called on the president to resign from office shortly after he announced that he would not seek re-election. For the Democrats, there is no question of the president's ability to complete his term in office. They have also commended him for dropping out of the race.